What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
Well, we want to welcome everyone back to Tortured Bourbon, the show where we taste, review, and occasionally torture ourselves with bourbon decisions so you don't have to.
And if you love bourbon as much as we do, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. And as always, we link those in the show notes.
We do. But today, once again, we are here on a Wednesday, which means it's...
Happy Wednesday!
There we go. So this is an episode that is helped along by... Sponsored, moved along by Lydia and Damien, the proprietors of Hoppy Endings.
Right, and if you have watched our show ever, you've heard us mention Hoppy Endings, which is probably our favorite bar in North Raleigh.
It is. It's a Happy Wednesday where we're all hopping to the happy sound of happiness.
You're really pushing that on. You know what? Maybe this will release near Easter, and we can just get really into the hoppy imagery.
Well, that's Frosty.
The rabbit. I was like, what Easter bunny goes bumping? I was like, that's Frosty. Look at Frosty go. Sorry. Are you ready to talk now?
Am I allowed?
I apologize.
No, it's okay. Who run the world, girls? All right, so today we're diving into, isn't that how that song goes? Mm-hmm. Who run the world, girls?
I had no snarky comment. I like that song, and I appreciate you using it. You're so thrown off by me not having a snarky comment. You're just done. Episode over. We can go home.
Drink bourbon, base. We've landed the show.
It's over. Forever.
We're going to talk about Middle West Spirits. They're a distillery out of Columbus, Ohio. And if you haven't heard of them, well, we're about to introduce them to you. So it's kind of like a first date. We'll see how, if it goes on from there. Now, this distillery, they're very serious about their grain to glass production, which is something that we focused on for a while, and we did some of the heavy hitters, and now we're kind of back doing this, and that's good. And they're into bringing unique flavors into the bourbon world, and they're also one of those distillers that does distilling for others. So
right.
they've got a couple wings going, and we're talking about their bourbon, but they also do gin and vodka because
which
why
we
not?
Because pump that out
That's
while your
right.
bourbon ages.
Yeah.
This was actually one of the first bourbons Damien recommended we taste when we were there in Hoppy Endings.
Oh,
so and
good
we were
stuff.
big fans. So it was co-founded back in 2008, which in the bourbon world is very, very young. It's basically a toddler. By Ryan Lang, who's actually a fourth-generation distiller. So he's got some roots that go way back, as well as Brady Kanya, who is a finance guy, I understand.
Yeah, he's the guy.
And so he was not a fourth-generation distiller, but he probably needed to help the distiller with the money side.
Let me help you with the vision.
So they started with a vision. They wanted to celebrate local ingredients and traditional craftsmanship, which we've talked before. We love it when we can emphasize a company that's paying attention to their local growers and helping them out. Now, they've actually built a reputation for super high-quality grain-forward whiskey, and they've been named one of the top 10 grain-to-glass whiskey producers in the country.
That's amazing. So today we're checking out 3 offerings of theirs, and if we get this name wrong, we do apologize. We did try to find the correct pronunciation, but we're not Ohioans. Michelone, the Michelone Reserve Straight Wheated Bourbon Whiskey, the Michelone Reserve Cask Strength Wheated Bourbon Whiskey, and then the Cask Strength Straight Wheat Whiskey. Now, the fun fact, Michelone, if that is how you pronounce it, and if not, and if you know, let us know. We'd love to hear from you, because she wants to hear from you, because she's a millennial, so she really wants to hear from you.
You had to get that in. I thought we passed it today.
Nope, not today. I'm going to be there. It's both the name of the bourbon and the distillery, and it was named after the grandfather who inspired it. So there's a deep family connection there. So we're truly not trying to butcher it. If we missed it, we're sorry.
That's it, and that's sweet. I don't know if B's grandchildren will name a distillery after him, but there's still time.
I don't have any grandchildren, so
I know.
there definitely is
That's
time.
What I'm saying. There's plenty of time for that to happen. Did I just...
He's 11. But I know whose daughter he hangs out with.
Moving on. All right.
Wow.
First up, we have the Michelone Reserve Straight Wheated Bourbon Whiskey. Obviously, you can tell from the name, it's a wheated bourbon, which, as we've talked about on the show before, just means that instead of rye as a secondary grain, they're using wheat. Usually, now, we've tasted some exceptions recently, but usually that's going to give it a softer, smoother profile, and a little bit sweeter sometimes.
Now, what's interesting about this one is it's actually a 4-grain It's actually a 4-grain.
Yeah.
Because it actually has a little rye in it. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's aged for at least 4 years in American white oak barrels. Their mash bill includes the soft red winter wheat, which is something that we see more. Well, it's being advertised more now. Now, forever how long that is, but we know that Holiday
has
and they
uses
put
the
it
red
right.
winter
They
wheat.
put it right on the packaging.
They kind of really own it.
Yeah, they kind of call it out. But there's been several that from that Midwest area that we hear about the soft red winter wheat.
Right.
And there's something about that name, soft red winter wheat.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. But there's also pumpernickel rye, which is a dark rye, yellow corn, go figure, and 2-row barley. Now here's what we should be smelling and tasting in this one,
right,
and obviously we're going to start with
And
the
recently
nose.
we've been picking it up and smelling it as we talk about the nose, and I don't know about you, but that's helped me.
Yes.
Kind of do it as we're talking about it. So on this one, we're supposed to get some caramel, toasted oak, vanilla, maybe a little dark fruit, and then a few other things, right, B?
Nutty aroma.
We will know because B will call that out.
Hints of brown sugar and molasses.
Okay, molasses for sure.
Yeah, straight up.
Which goes with brown sugar for me.
Yeah.
They're almost synonymous for me. Which, by the way, this week I brought a fun fact to be about molasses, and I was so excited. And I don't think he thought it was quite as cool as I did.
Apparently they use it to clean up chemical spills in New York.
Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. Let us know if you think that's
I
cool, or
thought
if you knew that, because I had no clue. So if you knew that, and that's like a known fact, please comment and let me know.
I thought it was cool, but I didn't go like paint a wall about it. I mean, it wasn't like. That's cool.
I mean, I went out.
What did you make a T-shirt? I mean, you probably would. You'd want to put your initials on it.
I'm gonna monogram the front, molasses on the back. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, the classic caramel and vanilla is there. Dark fruit is a little. If it's there, it's. I really get a strong molasses brown sugar, so that might be covering that up
with
for
that
me.
underlying vanilla.
Right.
Kind of rolling.
I like the smell. It's very inviting.
Yeah, I mean, we've said before that. I mean, we bought this bottle for a reason because we tasted it and we're like,
Is this the one I brought back from Tennessee? Or have we opened that one?
No, it's the one from Tennessee. Just a strange dream about Tennessee.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago either.
Nope.
So then on the flavor profile, it's supposed to be smooth, smoky, a little softly sweet, and have some dark chocolate, molasses, and a little bit of spice from the barrel.
Now, some say it has a unique flavor profile because of its, they're using those 4 different grains, while others pick up a slight bitterness from the chocolate and coffee notes. So we'll see. How much is this going to run you?
I was so close to tasting it.
So bad.
I wanted to taste it. So this is going to come in about $47. So it's right there kind of in that middle point for your solid wheated.
Yeah,
bourbon.
for a smaller distillery. It's kind of got a little...
For grain to glass.
Yes.
We've noticed that there's if you're not going with one of the heavy hitters, if you've got a smaller grain to glass, it's going to be a little more expensive because they're paying more for their ingredients.
Yeah.
So.
They're paying more and their distribution costs are more.
Everything costs them a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's soft red winter wheat. It's not cheap.
Big purchaser of soft red winter wheat. You've been out there just...
No, I'm just trying to keep you from being able to drink it because you did it to me.
Fair.
Are you ready?
The front has a lot of caramel to me.
See, I get more chocolate in this one. Sometimes chocolate doesn't come out really strong. I get a lot of dark chocolate and coffee in this, especially towards the end.
Now, I would go with the coffee.
Taste it, and then I'll shut up and let you do your whole process, and then I want you to tell me what that end flavor and finish is for you.
Bourbon.
Y'all, I don't know how I sit beside this genius every week. I don't know how I can stand to sit in the bask of this genius.
Probably have to go home and shower.
Drink your bourbon.
See, when they describe themselves as grain forward, I'm down with that.
So that end flavor to me is like a mocha. Like I get a mocha, like a coffee, but we're not talking Starbucks, like basically a mocha milkshake. We're talking like coffee with a hint of dark chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, I
get that really strong on the finish.
I got coffee. I got a little espresso. I really like it. It's a little deeper in flavor than most wheated.
Deep is a good word. It is a very deep flavor profile.
But up front, I do think it gives you not a caramel bomb, but it's not sugary sweet. It's grainy sweet.
It is.
And there's a lot of it.
Yes.
And
it's grain forward at the front.
For 95 proof,
yeah,
it's got a good mouthfeel. It
has a great mouthfeel. It doesn't drink super low.
No.
And I really get a strong mocha flavor at the end. But I love dark chocolate, so I'm gonna find that if I can. Long story short, this is delicious. I don't get as much of. I'm not a pumpernickel fan, and I'm not pulling that out a ton. And it may be that the other 3 grains are masking that a little bit, which for me is a good thing. For other people, they might miss that rye spiciness, but for me, this is on point with my preferred flavor profile.
It doesn't get spicy at the end. It gets full-bodied. Mm-hmm. There's a deeper presence,
have a little spice at the end.
Oh, no,
a little bit.
Yeah,
you're right.
But I mean, but it. Yeah, and I actually have a little spice going down, and I think that is the rye or the barrel. I think that's what you're getting, which makes it bourbon.
It is bourbon.
Yeah,
it is bourbon.
But it's not. It is not a light wheated. Mm-mm. It is full bodied to be wheated. I'm impressed by what they do, knowing that Wilderness Trail was purchased up by Campari, and they paid. I don't know what the price was, but they paid a pretty penny because the second most expensive distillery
it was a lot.
in series that they've purchased in years. Would be shocked that if Middle West has not been approached.
I'm sure they have.
It has some things going for it that are unique.
It's hitting some points that bigger boys hit. And doing it well.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. And I also see why y'all don't underestimate Davian in his knowledge. I completely see now that we're further along, why this is one he recommended for us when we weren't just beginning, but we were kind of ready to upgrade a little to something a little bit higher proof and a little more complex. It's a great choice for that. I'm
really surprised that there's no story about how... The good people of Ohio discovered nuts, and it led to the... I'm glad, there's not like...
I'm picturing like Jack and the Beanstalk, but the cocoa bean, and it just...
or this is what fueled the Northern Tyranny and the Civil War, that this got the Columbus troops going. There's no...
Although, so maybe this is part, and it's been a while since we talked about any of these because we've been doing the heavy hitters. Maybe this is the new school, that's kind of leaning more into their science.
Hey, we make bourbon?
We make bourbon. Hey guys, guess what? Grain to glass, that means we use these grains, and these grains. Here's how much of it we use. Here's the proof. Here's the mash. We make bourbon, like it or don't like it. And maybe they're part of that new wave, which I can respect.
And what do you want to rate this lovely beast?
Ooh.
That's
okay.
tough, isn't it?
Can I reserve until we try the Cask Strength?
It's 50% your show and Who Run the World Girls, so you can
do what I want.
You can do it. You can do what you want.
So I notice it's
at least within these 4 walls.
That's fair. I notice it's darker and it's got almost a reddish flavor.
Yeah. So this is.
We got a redhead on the set today.
I used to be a redhead. It was kind of an Auburny.
I've never seen pictures. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You didn't have it when I met you.
That's correct. I didn't have hair when I met you. Thanks for the gentle reminder.
It was a very gentle reminder. What's up next?
Well, this is the Cask Strength version of what we just had. So it's straight from the barrel. So we're looking for more intensity. Being it's bottled at 126 proof, we're probably going to have it. Yeah. So the mash bill is the same with the red winter wheat, the dark pumpernickel rye, yellow corn, and 2-row barley.
So this one might literally set my throat on fire.
Let's hope
but
so.
If it doesn't, did you just say let's hope so?
Hope it grows some hair for me.
You're so mean. But I hope it's not so strong that I can't taste the flavor profile, because if it's anything like this one, I'm excited for it. Now on the nose, we're supposed to get caramelized sugar, roasted pecan, and cinnamon spice. Is that the first one?
Yeah.
So this one definitely has way more cinnamon. Actually, when these were sitting here before we got started, I kept smelling, and finally I picked this one up.
This is our bottle.
And I was like, B, this is straight up baking spices.
So we're supposed to get some burnt caramel, dark fruit, and deep toasted oak, in addition to that caramelized sugar, roasted pecan, and cinnamon spice. Now, palate to palate, they're very similar. One of them happens to have a little more ethanol in it than the other.
Gee, is it the one that's 126?
Let's hope.
Yeah, but the ethanol is almost covered by that cinnamon spice.
Yeah. Let me back that up. I'm not trying to say that it's over ethanol.
You can tell it's a higher proof.
This came from that. That's what I'm trying to say.
But you're not going to smell that and be like, oh, that must be like 80, 85. No, it's not subtle. I'm surprised you're not like losing it over the cinnamon because it's so cinnamon forward.
It's there. It's there.
Maybe it just smells stronger cinnamony to me. B's a little congested today.
Oh, a little?
I mean, to me, it smells like they dumped a jar of cinnamon in it.
There's cinnamon in there. Now, it does. I mean, I do have the state of North Carolina living in my nasal passages right now. They're probably farming tobacco.
Literally, only in North Carolina do we go from snow on the ground to stuff blooming outside in a week's time, but we do. So
this is such a professional show. Snort again one more time.
No.
Snort one more time. Come on. Do your little snort. There we go.
All right, on the taste, we're supposed to get rich dark chocolate, which I got a lot in the beginning one. Espresso, which I also got a lot of.
I got the espresso.
Warm vanilla and a lingering spice finish. But then some other stuff come in.
They also talk about some molasses, clove-dried cherry, and a long-lasting oak. Sometimes if you just write enough of these, you're gonna
hit one.
Yeah.
Some of them I think they do that. They're like, okay, these two are the only actual unique ones, and then let's throw in the other things that are common and see somebody.
There's like a bourbon thesaurus that they create off the wall. So now you want me to find the rich dark chocolate, and I get that immediately. And there's definitely a lingering spice finish. Mm-hmm. Oak is throughout. Mm-hmm. I mean, oak is throughout. It is not the oakiest by any means.
No. I think I might become a Middle West fangirl. Because
like moving to Columbus fangirl?
No, it's not that serious. Oh, okay. Not that serious. I really like this combination of wheated, but with some things that are unexpected in a wheated bourbon. And obviously that's coming from it being a red winter wheat rather than a regular wheat, along with the rye still being there. I love that you can pick out so many different flavors. I mean, I'm getting dark chocolate, I'm getting espresso, I'm getting vanilla, and then I'm definitely getting a finish of spice. And when I say spice on this one, I mean baking spices. I mean clove, nutmeg, cinnamon. Yeah.
And that's on the on the very back and on the exhale. Absolutely.
And so, I love anything. I get excited. Anything I can describe as complex, I get excited. And this one, I've told you, when I mean complex, I mean it's that I can hit so many different flavor profiles. Just like that. It's like a flamenco dance. So I really enjoy all of those, being able to pick out all those different flavor points.
It's strong. The spice at the end is long and bold. Mm-hmm. When you think wheated bourbon, you just don't think... I don't think this many flavors. I think sweet,
exactly.
Little oak.
And that's what I was saying. That's why I'm such a fan of the Middle West, is because you're getting that cool complexity that doesn't always necessarily come with wheated bourbons. But you're getting the wheat. If you like wheat whiskeys and bourbons, you're still getting that. So I have 2 questions. Number 1, which one do you like better? That feels like it built off of that.
It should have.
Exactly, but sometimes we don't get that. And so this is a time that I could look at you and I could say, hey, if you like a higher proof and a little more oomph to something, go with the Cask Strength. If you want something that's an easy, smooth sipper, go with the regular.
All right, so rate it.
But you haven't told me yet what you like first. I asked first.
They're both really good, Heather.
They are.
I mean,
That might be one of those that depends on the mood in the day.
Yeah, I mean the Cask Strength is probably more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I definitely get the taste profile that you get. I mean, I told you immediately on the first taste, I said, okay, well, here's the dark chocolate and the espresso. It's moving. None of them move away from caramel, but it's not as caramel forward as the first one.
If I picked chocolate or caramel, this one moves even more away from the caramel.
The Cask Strength goes more to the chocolate.
Yeah.
But it also has a significant more bite to it. Both have a good mouthfeel.
It's 125 proof. You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're asking me which one I prefer, I don't know.
I would have thought this one would slightly edge out for you because you tend to like a Cask Strength. But I could also see how it would depend on the day.
I think if I'm going into the store to buy one, I'm probably going to grab the Cask Strength.
That would have been my guess.
That's fair.
If I'm buying only one, I'm buying the Cask Strength. However, this is one that I would love to always have on my bar cart because it's one I'd like to share with other people and say, hey, this is really good. I really enjoyed this. Taste it. Tell me what you get out of it. It's a fun taster.
So you're saying that before we move on to the straight wheat whiskey, that when we talk about the wheated bourbons, that their regular strength, non-cask strength, is your high dog will hunt.
See, I almost hate putting it there, though, because to me it's almost hits even higher than that.
Well, then bump it up, then. Do you think the bourbon police are going to come out for you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I can't get in trouble. Yeah, actually, though, that's an apt description. It is a high, it's the best hunting dog, which is high praise here in the South. Because it is a true everyday sipper, and it is one that I would be happy and would enjoy sharing with friends. The Cask Strength is a hush your mouth because it just takes that wonderful profile and just knocks it up one notch.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't have a strong... I like them both. I don't have a strong inkling of rating on either one. I think they both punch where they're supposed to punch, and I think they're even... I think for the Cask Strength, you're actually getting a pretty good price for your size distillery. I mean, taking that into account, their description of grain forward, I keep coming back to that. There's something about the grain forwardness. Even I'm sitting here with that back molar taste where it's drying out, and it's like, I was out in a cornfield, or was out in a wheat field. Really.
But in the best way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've learned we like grain forward, we don't like grass forward.
You are dead on there. All right.
All right. So last but certainly not least,
I'm really looking forward to trying this one.
I am too. Neither of us have tried this, right?
No, I'm really looking forward to trying it.
I'm excited.
We are trying the Cask Strength straight wheat whiskey. This is different because it's not bourbon. Why is it not bourbon? Because as opposed to grain, their base grain is definitely wheat. So in this, you've got soft red winter wheat, and it's done in American oak barrels, and there you go.
So they're aged in toasted oak, and the regular bottle comes in at 92 proof. However, this, as B said, is a Cask Strength, so it's coming in at 125.
Yep.
So it's hitting a little bit higher. We're supposed to get some brandied cherries, vanilla bean, and caramel on the smell.
Yep, and then they have the description of coconut cookies, which
That's new for me.
That's new, and then a nutmeg and a hint of baking spice.
All right, let's give it a smell.
Yeah, the cherries are there, and the vanilla bean
I
is
feel
there.
like I went in expecting sunscreen because of like coconut cookies description. So let me get past that for a second. Ooh, the cherry becomes more and more pronounced the more you spell it.
Absolutely.
We need to recommend this to a friend of ours. Or is this his bottle?
This is his bottle.
He said he liked cherries. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, let's taste this bad boy.
Well, first, you want to talk about what we're supposed to taste?
Oh, that's a good point. We're supposed to taste...
We're supposed to get caramel, milk chocolate, custard tart, which I guess that's just like a a tart with like a vanilla-y custard in it.
It's a tart.
Thank you. And subtle nuttiness.
Silky texture, hints of spice, dried fruit, and oak. Mmm.
All right, Middle West, here's what's up. It's time for you to come down south. And it's time for you to have a bigger presence in North Carolina.
Oh, that's different. To say that I taste the wheat, that is, someone should smack me.
It's like an understatement?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is definitely a wheat whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There is no corn in there.
Mm-mm.
This has a different chew and a different taste.
A different mouthfeel.
Yeah. The silky texture I can go with. It definitely has a different texture.
Yes, you're right.
And it dries out.
Yes.
It dries out.
It does. You're right.
And so I know that they're using the term custard tart. So we're we're thinking of a custard.
Like a dessert.
Yeah. But the tart to me means that it doesn't linger as much.
So it's like a sweet, and then it like
and then it kind of cuts
off.
And I don't know if that's what they meant by tart.
But that's what it's going to mean for you.
That's what it means for me. And that also could be oak. Now, dried fruit, I don't get as much. But that's not one that I'm as...
Well, and for me, dried fruit is... So, I mean, you could dry any fruit. What dried fruit are you talking about? Are you talking apricots, raisins? What are you talking about? Now,
their use of the term milk chocolate compared to the espresso we've had over here in the mocha.
You're exactly right.
There's the difference.
You're 100% correct.
And part of that is the texture.
Yes. So
part of that is the texture.
This is 100% dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Whereas this, like B said, is much more... And I think that goes well with the caramel, milk chocolate, custard tart, subtle nuttiness. This is like a Cadbury egg more. Like with the milk chocolate and the... Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's sweeter. Okay, full disclosure, those of you out there, if you drink this, it's not going to actually taste like a Cadbury egg. But B gets what I mean. It's that milk chocolate, caramel versus the... This is a cocoa bean, espresso bean. And if we had to do this over, the reason we didn't start with the wheat was because we had the Cask Strength. Mm-hmm. And we didn't want to do we didn't want to do foolproof, regular, then foolproof. Right, because it would have thrown the flavor of the regular. But
this does come before, in my little peanut-sized brain, this does come before in terms of tasting the bourbon. It's, I don't want to use the word lighter. A little less complex, and that's not insulting. No. And by that, if you compare milk chocolate to dark chocolate. Yes, if you taste dark chocolate first, the milk chocolate taste is going to be thrown off some. Mm-hmm. The espresso overthrows this latte here, okay? Yeah. It does. You know, this is... But it's, I mean, what's nice about it is that... I wouldn't turn any of these down. It's different. And I want to go back to what you pointed out in these two, because we need to point it out with this one. Grain forward. Yeah. It is, this one almost even, I can almost taste the grain even more. Mm-hmm. Because there's less grains in it. There's less parts to it. So I feel like I taste that red winter wheat a lot. So B, what do you rank this one? Hush your mouth. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. I agree. If I say it again, it sounds stupid. I taste the wheat. There's just something about it. Well, there's a flavor profile there that is so different from bourbon. I wonder if it's that you taste the barley more. Because you're removing... There's no rye. Ooh. And there's no corn. There's a little bread to that. But not Merita. No. Yeah, I wonder if that's it. Yeah. Like fresh bread, like homemade, earthy bread. Yeah. Yeah, that could be it, actually. Mm. That kind of landed that. Very good. Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Anyway, so loved this. Love Middle West. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. Check out Happy Endings. Tell Damien we said hi. And until you do that... Cheers, y'all. Cheers, y'all.